stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'm going to open public comment quickly at 5:32. Do we have anybody for public comment? And we're going to go right to warrior recognitions.
So you may be wondering why this group of individuals is standing in front of you, and I will invite their coach to share that information if he wants to come down to the mic. Or unless the captains want to do that.
Yeah, the captains want me.
Looks like they want to share.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess a little bit tall.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the 2025 NHIAA Division I state champions in girls soccer. So special group of girls, and we're very proud of them. So thank
That's
you.
awesome. Can you tell us the highlight of, besides the
winning
goal, but a highlight of the season?
There was a lot. I think it was the whole run-up, maybe to the state finals. The way in which they did it, in terms of like just sheer drama. You know, first round was 9-1, and then PKs against Exeter, the rival, and then double overtime against Bedford, and then with 7 minutes left, won the state title. So I think it was the whole run. So it was excellent. Yep.
Well, congratulations, girls. We love it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Coach.
If any of you want to say anything, this is your chance at the microphone.
Go for it. Anyone? No?
If not,
no.
Okay. Well,
All
then
right
you
then.
are
Well, thank
free
you,
to
girls.
leave, but
Go
thank
enjoy
you
your
for coming.
banquet. Enjoy.
Be
Thank
careful.
you. Yeah. No falling. Good luck.
Thank you. Oh yeah.
Head. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm gonna go on my phone.
All right, and we are rolling on with recognitions, and I think Mr. Martin is here to share a little bit about some band recognition.
Right. Hi, everyone. So I'm here to recognize a few of our music students who have been selected and accepted into some pretty prestigious state-level festivals. So we'll start at the beginning. Back in September, we had, I think, 8 students audition for the 2nd annual All-State Modern Band Festival, which is a new kind of state music festival that's New Hampshire's kind of on the cutting edge on. It's starting to grow throughout the country, where it's kind of taking traditional music and the education that goes behind traditional ensembles out of the picture and focusing more on modern styles of music like rock and pop and country and things like that. And it's a completely different way of kind of looking at music education. And so this new festival is really exciting. We had, like I said, I think 7 students audition, and 2 of them made it. 2 of them are here tonight. So we want to recognize Henry Woolley, who got accepted on bass guitar, who's back there. And then on vocals, we had Rachel Dion, who's right behind me. And I think it's worth pointing out that Rachel received the highest score in the state for vocals. So,
Nice job.
very proud of her. They put on a great concert on October 10th, I think it was, where they came together with all the other students for a full day of rehearsals, and their set list was awesome. The place was going nuts. They blew the roof off the place, and it was a ton of fun. They did some like Guns N' Roses, like just all over the map in terms of their set list. I'm sure they remember. And then a couple weeks later, we had about same number of students, about 8 or 9 students audition for the Jazz All-State Festival. And we had 2 students make it in. One of them is sitting right over here, Ben Box on trombone, who this is his 2nd year making the festival, and he received the 3rd highest score in the state on trombone, so very proud of him. And then the other student couldn't make it tonight. That would be Reese DiNardo, who got the 7th highest score in the state on trombone, so he was also accepted to the festival.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I personally consider that festival to be the most competitive music festival in the state because they take a very limited number of students and a lot audition. So I think that one's really hard to get into. The final recognition I want to give tonight is we had 6 students accepted into the All New England Band Festival, which is not an audition-based festival, but it is recommendations from me. There's this massive spreadsheet that has all this criteria on it about leadership and dedication and have they made things like All-State before, so it's a whole bunch of boxes I have to check. And you never really know who's going to get picked, but it's all based on the information I provide. So we had 6 students selected who will be going to Plymouth on Monday, Plymouth State University, to join students from New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. Again, putting together an ensemble, rehearsing for the whole day, and putting on a concert. And I believe several of them are here. So behind me, we'll start with Tyler Newcomb on Barry sax. Jaden Boulard on flute and piccolo. Nikki Welch on percussion, mallet percussion. And Ben Box on tuba. And 2 students, Reese DiNardo could not make it tonight. He was also accepted on trombone. And then Shepard Gray was also accepted on clarinet. So really happy for those guys to do that. And this time next week, we should know the results of the classical All-State auditions, which are happening this Saturday. Several of these people are auditioning for that. And I'll just point out, Ben is going for the much-coveted 4-year award, because he has made it every year since he was a freshman. And you can keep clapping, because he's going for his second or third highest. He got the highest score in the state 2 years in a row. He's going for his third. So,
Wow.
I am hopeful that in a couple weeks I will have those results and lots of recognitions for those as well. So thank you.
Awesome. Could I have all of you guys come down here? I want to take a picture with. Put it on. Come on down. You two.
You're going the other side. She's gonna come to you.
I'll come to you.
So I have to stand next to Nikki.
Of course, that's it. Congratulations. There we go. Beautiful. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Send that to Donna.
Yes. Thank you for being here.
And best of luck.
Yes.
Do we have any more recognitions?
My apologies.
That's okay.
That's okay. We started with the soccer team. We've recognized the musicians.
And I believe we have the combination for the scholarship,
Yes.
rescan.
Do you want to introduce?
Yep, I will. Yeah, so basically, Reese has received the named the commended student in the 2025 National Merit Scholarship Program. Out of about 34,000 students, commended students throughout the nation are being recognized for their exceptional student promise and how they did on the PSAT Scholastic Aptitude Test. So congratulations, and Reese has also started practice for the ski season, correct?
Yeah.
So congratulations and thank you very much.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Yeah.
You get that one too?
Yep, I did.
Okay.
You can tell us what you're looking forward to for ski season.
I got some days on snow already.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's got snow? Oh, yeah.
Where north?
Vermont does, I know, but
I
just.
went up to White Base in New York.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Great.
Yeah, we got 3 all-day meets and 2 regular, like just half-day meets.
Mm-hmm.
And we have about 38 people trying out for the team, so we're gonna have to make some cuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Well, good luck for the season.
Yeah, and congratulations. That is a big deal.
Yeah.
We're proud of you.
Yes, very. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more recognitions or?
We no recognitions, but I believe we do have a presentation.
I think we have Winnacunnet Pride first.
Oh, sorry. Oh,
That's okay. Yeah.
But they're ready.
Give us 2 seconds.
Alrighty, so starting off, on October 26th, the junior class hosted their comic book show and toy show fundraiser. And then after that, on Halloween Day, the Student Council hosted our first ever transfer student social event, allowing transfer students to kind of connect with each other more. They also got free food. The turnout was great, and we're hoping to host another one in the winter. Following that, on November 6th, the Student Council also hosted our first ever annual Veterans Day breakfast, celebrating our local veterans and thanking them for their service. Last Thursday and Friday, the Student Council went on our annual overnight trip to Waterville Valley. We had a lot of fun as we worked with other school student councils and grew our leadership skills. And recently, the sophomore class had their Rock Your Socks fundraiser, and the senior class also did an online fundraiser through the Raise 365 website. On October 20th through the 24th was Sustainability Week and Positive Warrior Week, so a very busy week. For Sustainability Week, there was sustainability-based activities as well as guest speakers and a career fair. And for Positive Warrior Week, everyday staff and students were challenged to spread kindness, acceptance, and inclusion. The fall play, White Liars and Black Comedy, was presented November 7th, November 8th, and November 9th. It was very successful. On Wednesday, November 12th, the Winnacunnet Health Corps Club hosted their first blood drive of the school year, and they're planning to host another one in March. November 24th, the Winnacunnet Craft Fair is being hosted here in the dining hall from 9 to 4, and is hosted by the Winnacunnet Best Buddies chapter. And currently, right now, the Winnacunnet Music Department's December calendar fundraiser is going on and ends tomorrow. And today, trimester final exams started, and we'll finish up tomorrow. Huge shout out once again to our girls soccer team, who are the state champions. Along with that, the boys soccer made it to round 1 of playoffs, boys football made it to round 2, and girls field hockey made it to semifinals. And all fall sports had great seasons overall, and winter sport preseason meetings are already beginning, so yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
That's a lot.
It was a busy, busy month, very busy month, but very successful events for everything.
Congrats. Thank you. Now we have our presentation.
okay, so we have Hannah Edgar is going to talk about our ELO project.
See, I'm not as tall as these folks who were here before me.
That's okay.
Look at that. All right, we're just going to hold on 1 second for that wonderful little slideshow, and we'll be all set. Thank you, Mr. Long, very much. All right, apologize for making you turn your chairs. But hello, my name is Hannah Edgar. I'm a junior here at Winnacunnet, and I am here to talk about my ELO experience and how I was able to make a change in the Hampton community. So just to start off, this was in collaboration with the Hampton Fire Department. Just wanted to say a huge shout out and a big thank you to everyone over there who's been very helpful and very, very collaborative in making this all possible. So, all set? All right, so this started about in the winter of the beginning of this year. So, I don't know, I kind of started thinking about this around January, and I was thinking about how can I create a collaborative program to improve the wellness of senior citizens. So just a little background, my great-grandmother was a part of a program similar to this up in South Burlington, Vermont, and there are similar programs at the state. I'll get to some of the details in a moment, but I was just really inspired to try and bring this to Hampton and kind of create a more connected community to make Hampton safer as well. So here are kind of some of the pillars of what I was hoping for with this program to save time and resources for first responders, while also benefiting senior citizens who particularly are living alone throughout the state. It provides peace of mind and maintains independence for senior citizens as well, and just builds that relationship throughout the community. So I'll get more to the program in just a second. So what am I talking about? The idea is that participants of the program voluntarily will be calling a non-emergency phone line at the Hampton Fire Department every morning between 7 and 9 a.m. That's why it's called Project Good Morning. And if a participant were ever to miss a call, if by the time we talked about in the morning it's not set up, the fire department will call them. So we start by just calling and saying, hey, send them a text. Maybe they slept in this morning, or just forgot one morning and went out to breakfast or something like that. So we call them first. We call their emergency contact if we can't get in touch. And then finally, the last resort is to send a fire department unit, so either an ambulance or someone in a chief car, anything like that, to go check on them, just to make sure everything's all right, and to make sure everyone's feeling good and well in the morning. So why is this program necessary here in Hampton? So as some of you may know, we do have a bit of an aging community. Over 38% of residents of Hampton are over the age of 60, but they do make up over 60% of our EMS or emergency medical calls. So that's a pretty staggering statistic that I was able to come up with the Hampton Fire Department. I was blown away about this. I found these numbers a couple weeks ago, and I had done this whole program, and I didn't even know it was that extreme. But last calendar year, the Hampton Fire Department received 235 fall-associated calls where patients were injured and transported to the hospital. To put that in perspective, that's about 4.5 to 5 calls every week. So that makes up a big majority of their EMS calls that are going to something that could be prevented. A lot of injuries can be more severe than you might think from senior citizen falls, including hip fractures, head trauma, or compartment syndrome, which is when if you sustain an injury and it's not treated, parts of your body can start to shut down that weren't even affected in the original accident. So these are just injuries that can continue to affect someone's life well after the fall, and a lot of these injuries can occur for days, and especially if a senior citizen is not connected through the community or living alone, it can go unnoticed. And so that's what we were really trying to prevent here. So to start, we have to do some research. So I spent the spring of my sophomore year doing some research, just that. I had a nice Google Doc. I had lots of spreadsheets, lots of data that I was firstly looking up online, trying to see, okay, what are some programs that are similar to this? I've heard of this. It's throughout the state. How am I going to be able to do this? So I started with research to create a convincing proposal to present to the Hampton Fire Department. This also included calling and emailing many different resources throughout the state and all over the country. I worked very hard to get in touch with people, and it turns out that's not super easy. But, and I'm sure as some of these students here can attest to, calling is hard. It's scary. But so we worked through that, and I finally made a slideshow that I was pretty proud of, that I was able to share over at the fire department with a bunch of fun graphics and pretty cool stuff. So that's the next part, right? You do your research, you create your proposal, then you got to tell someone about it. So I started with talking with Deputy Chief Denio. He's very kind, very supportive, very attentive to my lovely presentation over at Hampton Fire. And I was able to practice public speaking, wearing the right outfit, talking at the right speed, all of that at the first one. And then I also was lucky enough to present at the ELO Expo, put on by yours truly, Mr. Long, in May of this year. And I was able to create that trifold you can see there in the photo with lots of information talking about what I'd done so far. And I kind of started introducing the idea of learning how to present ideas to different audiences, right? So you're presenting information that you've collected, and how am I going to change my presentation to fit my audience, to make sure it's the right amount of time, it appeals to the right audience, things like that. So that was really interesting and fun to play around with. Learned a lot from that. So then both the Hampton Fire Department and myself were quite busy over the summer. So we took a bit of a hiatus. We said, this is a great idea. We'll come back in the fall and try and put some action to the idea. So come back in the fall, talk to Mr. Long, and hey, let's set up a nice little ELO this fall. So this started as me starting to build some of the materials that you need. Okay, so if I'm going to have these people call in every day, we need a form to keep track of it. We need an application online, but what if some of our senior citizens who would like to be participants are unable to access something online? So I made a paper copy. All these kind of things you start to run into, and that was all in collaboration with two very important people over at Hampton Fire. That would be Officer Jeremy Timpson. He's the chief EMS officer. He's who I worked with every week. Wednesdays afternoons, we got into a nice little routine, and I would show up and say, hey, what can I work on this week? And then also our fire alarm operator, Cassie Levitt. She was also incredibly helpful working out their database, working with my materials, making sure everything was working. Everyone knew how to answer the phone. Of course, they do that every day. But, so that was great. They were so helpful in everything that I was able to do. I also had weekly meetings with Mr. Long to check in and say, hey, how are we doing? What do we need to work on? What are our goals for next week? And things like that. So you can see over on the left there are some of my meeting notes that I tried to take during my meetings and say, hey, what are some questions? What are some responses? What do we need to do? So that was kind of a lot of my prep going about halfway through this trimester. And then I was lucky enough to get to be there to implement the very first pilot program. We had 4 participants for that first week. I believe it was the first week of November. I was there in the morning. The fire department was very kind to let me answer some calls. I got to talk to some people. And so that's Jeremy Simpson in the picture there. It's a very nice fellow. And that was really, it was such an amazing moment for me. I couldn't believe that I'd had this idea 6 months ago, and then all of a sudden it was real. And I was like, whoa, it was, you should have heard me. I was like jumping around all day. I was so excited. All right, and then, so obviously it's the end of the trimester. As Sadie said, our finals are coming up. And so, well, what's the next step, right? So we had our pilot program, and so our goal is to kind of continue to grow this program throughout the Hampton community. I've been lucky enough to get to work with Heidi Terracina. I don't know how many of you know her, but she is a fantastic lady. She works at the Hampton Parks and Rec, and she also happens to be my Nordic ski coach. And she taught me how to ski very patiently all last year. So I was lucky enough to get to go to an event there. It was a morning yoga class, and I got to chat with the participants there and say, hey, this is this really cool program I'm doing. If you know anyone who would be interested at all, please let them know. They can reach out and be a part of Project Good Morning. So the kind of next steps, I am going to be continuing one more trimester for this ELO and work on advertising and presenting to the community. So starting with this lovely space and continuing on to hopefully maybe some town meetings, social media, things through Hampton Union. The options are endless, but that's sort of my goals where I'm going with it. I was very lucky to get to be a part of this amazing ELO program and be able to kind of see this vision come to life. It was really, really cool. Trying to think. Can you think of anything I forgot? You were good.
It's an amazing program.
Well, thank you.
So, Hannah, I have a question for you.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
What do you see as it's going forward? You know, like, and this comes up, you know, you can't be there every day. So,
Correct.
Is it something they're looking, like, are you going to be looking for a volunteer to do the answering the calls, or is it going to be part of the fire department? Where do you see that going?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I've been working with, obviously, the fire department, and they are really, really like this idea. They love that it's getting out into the community, it's being proactive, and as soon as I brought it up, pretty much from that first meeting, they were like, okay, we're gonna run with this. So I've been lucky enough to stay a part of it, and the goal is to officially kind of transfer it completely to the Hampton Fire Department. They will be running it. It's kind of running in tandem to a couple other programs they have. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of the Vial of Life program. It's a really interesting, it's a similar idea. So it started with old medicine bottles, so old prescription bottles that people would have in their house. And so senior citizens or anyone honestly at home could write down all of their medical information, all of their important patient history. It can be emergency contacts, prescriptions that you take, anything, past history, anything, and it goes in a little vial and you stick it in your fridge and it stays safe, and there's these little magnets you can put on the door and say, hey, I have a vial of life, and any of the Hampton firefighters know that they can go right to the fridge, and they know right where it is. So it'll sort of be working in tandem with that. But yes, to answer your question, it will be completely transitioning over. Right now, there's enough bandwidth in the dispatch area that they're going to be able to handle it up into a certain point. And then once we get, hopefully, lots of participants, we'll kind of continue to change it from there as
And
necessary.
the senior program that Heidi works with over at the rec must be a huge
Yes. Yes.
resource too. You
Absolutely.
know? And then they can bring it back to their communities like Hampton Meadows and things like that where the average age is a little bit higher. So
Right.
yeah. Awesome.
Exactly.
Well, you did a great job.
Well, thank you.
Congratulations. It's wonderful.
Awesome.
Anybody else have any comments?
Yeah.
No, I just think it'd be, it'll be great for the families
Mhm.
of these older people, being of an age myself, but especially when they're living alone and they want to live alone as long as they can. They don't want, and I think it would be very put to ease a lot of families' minds, just having this extra level of
Yeah.
safety involved. But
I
thank
love.
you, Hannah, this was awesome.
Well, thank you. I love that you
A lot
mentioned
of
that.
hard work.
It is a lot of hard work.
I think it's just a great illustration of our portrait of a learner values right in motion. This is community engagement defined. It's also addressing physical and mental wellness in the community. You're displaying sort of your mindset of like, okay, I started with this piece. I did my research. Now what do I do? How do I figure this out? Oh, now I've got a pilot. How do I recruit people to be part of this program and grow that? So your essential life skills are on display as well. So
Thank you.
thanks, Hannah.
Yeah, very well done.
No notes.
I know, yes.
Well, thank you.
Yes, your public speaking is right on.
Ah,
Yes,
thank
you're a
you.
natural speaker.
No, well, thank you for that, and thank you, Matt, for bringing this. Yeah. I love it. Thank you. That's amazing. All right, so now we have minutes to approve.
October 15th.
Yeah, October 15th.
You were all here.
Everybody was here, so do we have a motion to approve those
Sorry,
minutes?
Desiree was not here. but-
Oh,
Oh, no, she was here on the 15th.
Okay,
I'll make a
Samantha.
motion to approve the minutes from October 15th regular meeting.
thank you. Second?
Second that.
Perfect. All those in favor? Thank you. The budget review for November 3rd,
Yeah,
That was
Desiree was
the-
not here for the first one.
but she was on the
She
phone.
was on the phone.
Right.
That
So
doesn't
So she
count.
can-
Yeah, you can still vote.
You can still vote,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
All right.
This was not physically present.
So can we have a motion on that one?
Sure, I'll move to accept the minutes of the November 3rd budget review meeting.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Great. November 6th budget review meeting?
Everyone was here.
Everybody was here, so could we have a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes from the November 6th, 2025 budget review meeting.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Perfect. All those in favor? Awesome. Thank you. We have SAU reports.
Yes, I think I'm giving them all this evening.
Oh, there we
So,
go.
I'll begin with the student leadership team. We held our first meeting on the 22nd of October, and during that meeting, students talked about just how they wanted to work together and the role of that team, but also talked about what makes for great schools, so we could start working on goals for this year. We were scheduled to meet again today, but because of exams, that was not going to be an effective date, so we're meeting right after Thanksgiving. We'll talk about individual leadership strengths of students and try to finalize some goals for this year. And then later in December, we'll be traveling to Primex for a session with one of their leadership coaches. I don't need to tell you that it is budget season. The SAU budget hearing was held on the 12th of November. And then Winnacunnet, as you just approved in your minutes, budget was approved at your November 6th meeting. The Winnacunnet Budget Committee will begin their work next week, after Thanksgiving. Sorry, didn't mean to give anyone heart failure. And that's happening across the SAU. I did put out to families last week. The snow has begun to fly, as you just heard from Hannah, and ski season is underway, but we could get snow days. We haven't in a couple of years, but we might. So if we do have snow, our first 3 days will be traditional snow days, and if necessary after that, we will explore remote learning options for the remainder of the winter season. I will not update you on my next item. I will just say we're expecting another very busy legislative season. I believe there are 1,300 total bills before the legislature for. No, they're not all education related. 1,300 total. Of those, 200 to 300 are education related. We'll have some more information on that. The School Board Association is doing a legislative preview, I think, in mid-December. And we will offer an opportunity to meet with our local legislators in the new year. I will just point out 2 quick items to the board. Open enrollment is one of those that will be back on the legislative agenda. I know that was something that was discussed quite a bit last legislative session. The other piece that was in a study committee that reported out on November 1st, I believe this was in your School Board Association updates, was on the SAU consolidation. And so the committee voted along party lines to recommend consolidating to 1 SAU per county. So there would be 1 SAU office to serve all of Rockingham County, and 1 for Stratford County, 1 for Coos County. The only exceptions to that would be Manchester and Nashua, which would each retain their own. So those would be elected positions if that legislation moves forward. And I think the target implementation year in the draft bill would be 29-30 school year. So. And on to other reports. Dr. Toomey shared some information about, I'm going to forget the name of it now, Who We Play For, screenings for sudden cardiac arrest. We offered these for the first time last year and had some great participation from our communities. So we are offering that again. If families are interested in having their child screened, we'll put the information out in January, but they'll be able to register to have their children screened. This is a screening for sudden cardiac arrest. The recommended window for screening is every 2 years between the ages of 10 and 25 for athletes in particular, and those screenings are 95% effective at catching potential sudden cardiac arrest risk. Whew.
So it's not
Say it
just,
again. Go ahead.
just not for athletes?
Anybody could do it,
Yeah,
sure.
that's good.
Yeah. She also shared some additional information, as did Dr. Castley in her report, as we head into the holiday season. Transitions and disruptions to schedules and holiday stressors can all be factors in all of our households, and none of us are immune to that. And so Dr. Castley shared some resources about sort of coping with those pieces, and then Dr. Toomey's report also included some additional information or repeat information about the Cook Center for Human Connection, parentguidance.org. Resources are on our website, but also that free coaching or support for parents that's available via telephone or text for a variety of issues. And there were some quotes just about different things that people were looking for support with or had been receiving support with, managing behavioral issues with a teenager with ADHD, managing sibling relationships for competitive children who fight most of the time. That wasn't me, I promise. Limiting screen time, just the negative impact on children's ability to learn and enjoy age-appropriate activities, and also help with emotional regulation for parents, and some strategies for helping a child when they kind of get stuck, right? Can't let go of something. So just some ideas for that. And that is it for our reports for the moment.
Thank you. I'm going to, I don't see any more public comment, so I'm going to close public comment at 6:06, please. Thank you. Principals reports.
Good evening. Curriculum update. We just ended our first round of embedded PD for trimester 1, even though it says trimester 2 in the report. But we worked on curriculum, taking a look to see how things map to the portrait of the learner. Some of the departments look to see how it impacts the ED 306 changes that we need to implement. So overall, that's good, and the next trimester we'll start round 2, but we'll continue some of that work into round 2. We're also, again, led by the guidance department, doing the Thanksgiving baskets, and we will be handing those out on Monday after school. Recognition, I think we covered most of it, except there is a certificate of inclusion that we received, a certificate of inclusion for the participation in the New Hampshire Unified Champion Schools program, and we had a letter and certificate from the Special Olympics. Band. Winter sports began this week. Next week we've got alpine ski gymnastics. We'll talk about gymnastics shortly. And then we get back from the Thanksgiving break. We have basketball, ice hockey, indoor track and spirit, and then Nordic ski starts the following week. So we just ended a great fall season, and things are underway for the the winter season. Donations, some we'll come back to, but United Way of Massachusetts Bay donated $111.32 to support student activities. Thirsty Moose Tap Room donated $822.50 to support the Winnacunnet golf team. Hampton Community Coalition donated $1,000 gift cards for those families struggling with food insecurity. And Scott and Jennifer Young donated $200 in gift cards to support Winnacunnet students in need. So we thank those, and we'll come back to the other ones shortly. Enrollments are pretty steady. We have 970 students. And then upcoming events and activities through the end of the year. Tomorrow night we do have the Murder Mystery Dinner sponsored by the Drama Club. We had great performances last night by the United States Air Force Airmen of Note Jazz Ensemble. Exams, trimester 1 exams finish tomorrow. Friday is transition day, no school for students. On Sunday we have the Winnacunnet Best Buddies Craft Fair, Thanksgiving recess, and then early December we have the Winnacunnet Holiday Concert, our school board meeting on December 17th, and then we're looking forward to the holiday vacation starts on Tuesday, December 23rd with our early release, and then we resume on January 5th, so let's not push the year too fast.
Let's not, yeah. All right. Do you have exams tomorrow morning?
Yes.
Do you want to kick off?
Sure.
Go for it. Yeah.
I'm gonna wait.
Yeah, no,
well,
go. Good
It's
luck.
up to you.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thank you, you
you.
too.
Thank you.
And good luck.
Can I go too?
No.
You have to study?
I love it. We have the finance report in here, and we also have the facilities reports. Let's go down to policies, second read and adoption.
Yes, so we have 14 policies that were reviewed by the policy committee. These were in your packet for last month's meeting. I've not received any additional comments or questions.
Could I get a motion to, unless we have any discussion on it, could I have a motion to approve the 14 policies as presented?
Motion to approve the adoption of the 14 policies as presented.
A second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? And once again, I want to thank the policy committee for going through those. Appreciate it. It's Nicole's on it, right?
Tracy?
No,
No, Tracy is.
Yeah,
Tracy is,
Tracy's
so
the chair.
thank you for that. Let's see. Delegation update.
So Tracy's not here. She was your NHSBA delegate, so we can move that to next month.
All right. Is there a communications committee update?
Just a quick update for you. We're currently working on our winter publication, and we're in the process of starting a new initiative to spotlight some of our students on the SAU website, particularly if they have excelling attributes and our pillars in Portrait of a Learner. So that will be something to come, something new and exciting.
Awesome. Thank you. Legislative update.
I covered that in my report, I
We're all
think.
set. State assessment results.
So we have the state assessment results in the spring. We are assessed in math and English using the SATs, and there's also the science assessment. So those results are included. I've got two graphs for the state assessment results. One going back to 2020. Those are reported by the New Hampshire Department of Education. Includes the state, Winnacunnet, and the national In most cases, we align with the state. Clearly, we all want to do better on both English and math. Historically, those are the scores. The one thing I noticed, because when I take a look for the national scores, I need to go into the College Board. Those scores differ a little bit from the state scores. They align pretty closely, but there is some difference as far as how we compare with the national and the state levels. But clearly we continue to work with what we need to do to ensure that our students are performing well. I think the group, the students that we're dealing with now are the ones that may have been impacted by the COVID pandemic, but we still need to do more work, taking a look at these results and seeing where we can have improvement and improve our scores. Same thing with the state science. Science, we're a little bit above the state, but clearly there's room for a lot of improvement, and we'll continue working on that, reviewing the curriculum as we go along. I also have included how we've been doing on the advanced placement exams. We had 129 took them last year, down a little bit, but overall the students scoring 3 or higher has been increasing over the last several years. So we're going to take a look to see how we can increase number of students taking the AP exams and continue working towards increasing those scores.
Okay. Thank you. Let's see. Student parent handbook updates.
So there were 2 updates, one on page 20, including some language around McKinney-Vento students, the students that are homeless, as far as what rights they have. And at Winnacunnet High School, Talia Westerberg is the liaison, so we'll continue to make sure that those students are taken care of and we recognize those. And through our Title I grant, we do have some funding in there to provide transportation and also cover some of the field trips. A lot of those students participate in close-up in the band trip, and they don't have the funding. So right now we're looking to get some of that funding for that, in addition to our Title I instruction. The other one is on page 70 of the handbook, dealing with field trips. Just recognizing and just letting parents know that if a student that's receiving special education services is on a field trip, we may not be able to provide what we would provide in the classroom. So that's temporary pause when they're on the field trip.
So then they would have that choice of either sending them on the field trip or having their staying back and getting the services, correct?
Sure, and I
Okay.
think there's different types of field trips and different kinds of needs, but for example, if a student was on an all-day field trip to, I don't know, the State House,
Yeah.
right, to watch the legislature in action, they typically receive an hour of direct reading instruction a day. Well,
They're
they
not
would
gonna
not be
get that.
getting that direct reading instruction. If
Okay.
a student, on the other hand, needs one-to-one support to, for mobility access, right, then that support would accompany them on the field trip.
What page was this?
So basically the McKinney-Vento is on page 20,
Yeah, I saw that one.
and then the field trip is on page 71.
Oh, okay.
So if you,
That last paragraph.
field trip's the
under
second
field
paragraph,
trips.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions on those changes? Can I
But
get a
this is
motion?
fine, the IEP one doesn't conflict with any policies that we have to adhere to, right? I'm assuming.
No, I
Okay.
think we just want to ensure that parents understand, right, that essentially for those one-off field trips, they are making an informed decision. It will be on our field trip form as well, but that they're making an informed decision that, yes, for this day, I understand that, we're not, if you're going on a field trip, you're not having your regular course schedule, and so you might not get
Right,
those
so if they
regular
don't, if
embedded
they add
services.
speech or OT or something, they're not gonna get those. But would they make it up on a different day, or they'll just fully lose any hours
Well,
that were allotted?
again, I think it depends on the individual circumstances, but generally they would not be made up, but a parent
Okay.
could initiate a request to make them up, right?
Yeah, I mean, when they come back, whatever we need to provide to get them back up to speed, we provide that, whether it's special education students or
Sure.
regular ed students.
Any other questions on it? get a motion?
Motion to approve the updates to the 2025-2026 Winnacunnet High School Parent and Student Handbook.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Thank you. Gymnastics proposal.
So I have Mr. Boot here to answer any questions, but this fall we had 5 students come to us to see if we can add gymnastics. So gymnastics is an NHIAA sport. It is the only sport that we do not offer in addition to esports. So right now we're looking to add gymnastics to athletic program. The students would be practicing independently at their own gyms. They would only be together for meets that they would compete in. And the initial cost broken down, but the total cost for this year, we estimated about just over $5,100. We can absorb that into the budget as far as moving some things around, but it's an opportunity to offer gymnastics. And as we move forward into the future, we may have more students. These students are freshmen, so they'll definitely be here for the next couple of years. But it's an opportunity for these students, and as you supported sports in the past, it just provides another venue for our students to be participating in things outside of school that keeps them involved.
So I have some questions
Okay.
about this. One being, you know, isn't it accurate that all students have to have ability to have access to athletics? Meaning at least the opportunity to, is there any other sport where there is exclusivity, where there's not tryouts or some sort of process for anyone at the school to be involved?
I mean, this is open to students, so I mean, students can be involved, but I think as with any sports that we have at the high school level, and just the way sports have evolved in our society, that most students that are gonna be competing, they've been involved in these sports from day one. I mean, you know, I'll take, you know, ice hockey, for example. Most students playing ice hockey have been skating, and very rarely is a student that has never skated before gonna try out for ice hockey because they just don't have the background. There's some of the sports that are more conducive to just walking on and trying out. You know, track can take a lot more, you know, a lot of more students as far as running, things like that. But most sports nowadays that require specific skill, those students have been participating for many years, and which is a benefit for those students. But it's unfortunate how sports are nowadays, that students can't just come to the high school and say, I want to try this sport, because if they haven't been able to experience it based on whatever reasons, background reasons are, they're not going to be able to be competitive and be able to make the team.
Well, I disagree. I mean, my daughter never cheered, but she did the cheer team here at Winnacunnet,
Right, and
starting as a freshman. So I just have concerns at starting a team where there's no, like it does say, equipment is not expected that equipment would need to be purchased for several years, meaning we might have to purchase equipment, which is a big factor. But also, it's not open. It's not open to other people because we can't offer them. Like for hockey, yes, they may have already had experience, but we're still offering all of the kids a place to practice and things like that. I don't know, I'm just confused because it seems very different
I mean, I think
than every other sport we're offering.
Yeah, please.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, just to speak to what Bill said. So it is open, like, so Final Forms has it on there. Anybody could sign up. I do see what you're saying in that right now, as it's kind of going to be a pilot, it would be the kids that have their own gyms to train at. In talking to people, gymnastics is not the sport where you would show up and be able to do a balance beam routine. Serious safety risks with that, or the bars, or any one of those things. Initially, when we this came to my desk, the thought was we might have one or two that wanted to do it, and when that happens in the NHIAA, you can register as independents, where we would have these couple of girls, they would practice and they would compete like with, say, Exeter, but they would represent Winnacunnet, so they would be independents for us. That kind of fell apart on us in talking about this when Exeter didn't have a coach, Salem didn't have a coach, and they just weren't really even in a point to add us. And so we did kind of open this floor up, and there were five girls right now that wanted to try it out this year and compete for Winnacunnet in the NHIA league.
So again, I have a question with coaching then.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're practicing at their separate gyms, correct?
Yeah, they would be practicing at A1 or whatever gym they go to.
Right.
And then
Under whose supervision?
under their coaches at that gym.
So we would have to vet them then, if they're coaching our students and those students are representing our school, then
Well,
we
no,
would
so
have
when we
to-
go to meets, when they're under supervision of us,
Yeah.
we would have a vetted, so one of the mothers volunteered to take that on and be vetted by us. And so what she would do is coordinate with the individual gyms and say, okay, what events is Leslie capable of doing? What events has she been practicing? Okay, I'll sign her up for those are the 3 events she'll do at Saturday's meet. So we have someone willing to do
So
this.
that's not a coach, though. That's like a supervisor. They're not
Correct.
actually skilled in gymnastics.
She is skilled, but she's not going to be coaching their routines and stuff because, again, we don't have a gym to do this at. This was the only way to do this right now, whether we would have been independents or Winnacunnet. And the independent piece just didn't materialize for us.
Okay. The other thing I have a question for is then liability.
Mhm.
So they're at their gyms
Mhm.
and they're practicing.
Which is
They're
which is what they
covered.
do anyway. Yes,
Right, they do that
They're
anyway.
doing that anyway.
They're doing that anyway, but if there's an injury at their gym,
Yeah, that's not.
it has nothing to do with us.
Has
So
nothing to do
the
with
only time
us.
they're covered under Winnacunnet is at the competition.
Correct. Yep. Technically, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not really any different than them being independents. It's just that we had 5,
Yeah.
and we had a volunteer that wanted to kind of oversee this
Yeah.
for at least this year. And
So they're gonna compete anyway, is what we're saying too. Like
Well,
as
if-
independents, correct?
No, unless if we don't approve it, then they can't because we're not. If you're an independent, you have to be under the supervision of, say, the Exeter coach or the Timberlane coach or the Salem coach.
All right.
And so we had found somebody here that was willing to do that for us. That does have experience, but again, she's not coaching their routines day to day.
Would those coaches from the gyms be coming to those competitions?
They may, but they don't have to. Right now, it's a group of experienced gymnasts, girls that have been doing it, and they're just looking to compete in the in the state
Yeah.
competition. It's just we've never had, this was the first time we've had interest in this. I can't predict what the future of this will look like, if it would even go past this year. I don't know. They may do it and say, I'd rather just compete privately like I have been. You know, they might not want to after this year. I don't think so. I think they're into it. I think it's something that potentially could be a really good thing. Like Mr. McGowan said, it's the one NHIA sport outside of esports, the video games, that we don't offer right now. So it to me, I and Mr. McGowan and I thought this was kind of a cool thing that these girls wanted to do it.
And I don't begrudge them that at all.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and we have in the past, supported kids that want to do different sports, like, and as Bill said, it's keeping them going, it's keeping them engaged and whatnot. It's just, I think I'm with Nicole where it's just, I don't think it's, I don't agree that I think it's not inclusive. I think anybody could go and go to these gyms and become a gymnast if they want, and compete the same way these girls are. But I think at this level, you're right, that gymnastics is not something that you can, I'm not getting on a balance beam, so, I'm just concerned, I don't know what I'm concerned about. I am
think I do.
concerned, but
I'm getting that same vibe that these private kids, which is great, they've probably been training since they were little kids.
right.
Are now coming under the Winnacunnet umbrella, but then we're looking at money here. And it's almost like, are we going to be subsidizing this in the future?
Right.
Not this year, but going down the line.
Yeah, I mean, could we have 15 people that want to do it? I mean, maybe, but again, like, we wouldn't say no to using the pool at PEA to swim or the ice, like, I feel
But
like.
we have our own coaches. I think that's
Well,
the
that-
difference is
Well,
that.
we do too now. She is a coach. I mean, she potentially, it's just for this year to get it going.
Yeah.
It was kind of the way we could get it going as simply and as cost effectively as possible. I don't know how much it costs to rent a gymnastics gym 3 days a week to practice.
Yep.
So it was kind of one of those things that kind of came in
Mm-hmm.
last minute, and the original plan of going and linking up with Exeter or something, it just didn't work because they didn't have anybody to do it.
Do any of the other schools, other than like Portsmouth, do they have one? Or
Portsmouth
Dover?
does not.
I'm
Pinkerton
trying-
does. Bedford does. Timberlane, Timberlane, Exeter, Salem, were all looking for coaches. They had a larger team.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, they don't have to let us be independent, so it's one of those things where
Right.
it's like their coach would oversee our girls at the meet, but they wouldn't have to agree to that. They could say no, too.
Okay.
So.
So I think one piece which I guess I'm interpreting is that typically when we add a sport, it's added during the extracurricular stipend meetings, right? That we make a proposal, it's part of your budget process, and this is happening out of the budget process, right? Because of the circumstances of not having an independent option, right? So I heard you say pilot. It's not framed as a pilot, it's framed as a gymnastics proposal, so I think that might be one aspect, right? Like, does the board want to consider this as a pilot rather than making a permanent commitment to it? Or is this something, that you're not ready to take on at this time? So, I mean, I would say those are a couple of ways to, you can say yes, you can say yes to a pilot, you can say yes long-term, or you can say no.
I mean, going along with that, we can do a pilot this year and then definitely bring it forward in the spring when we have the stipend.
We could do a pilot, but couldn't we look into a collaboration with, say, Exeter and other local schools?
Well, that's what he's saying, but there isn't one
Well,
for
it
this
fell-
term.
yeah,
But yeah,
it
after,
fell apart,
after
almost.
this, yeah, because.
Well, there's two types of things you can do. One is a co-op,
We do that
which
for
I
hockey.
don't
That's what I was
know.
gonna say, that's the hockey.
I don't know that
yeah.
I don't know that exists in gymnastics. And the
Okay.
other piece is to be an independent. And you can't be an independent if you have 5 or more gymnasts. So
Okay.
once we opened it up and hit the 5,
That was knocked
the
out.
being independents was then off the table, okay? Because we originally, when they were reached out to me, it was we have maybe 1 to 3 girls. So that's when I was exploring the independence. The independent thing fell apart anyway, but then it was, well, we have 5 gymnasts that want to do it, and once you hit 5, you can't be independents.
Okay.
So technically now we're Winnacunnet if we want to move forward with this.
I wouldn't have a problem with doing it as the 1 year to see where it goes, but then having them, we'd have to, with no promises, do you know what I mean? Like, one of those deals, I mean, I hate, because we've done it in the past, we've done it, and I am a proponent of, and I've been on record of saying if we can help one kid stay in school and do things, then I'm for that. and if we can absorb the costs this year, and we have it, then I don't have a problem. I guess I'm pushing towards, in my head, allowing it for this year to see how it goes, and then if it becomes something, then we have to really dig deep and look at options of what we need to do. Do you know what I mean? Like going to one particular gym, getting a coach, you know what I mean? But I think we've got 5 students who have asked for this, and that's 5 kids. I know that's.
And I appreciate that, and I think it's meaningful to a high school student to say you're competing for your high school, for your town. It's a different feeling than, I'm just at this random, I mean, we have kids that play hockey here because of the atmosphere, because your student section is there, because your teachers hear about it, and then kids sometimes will leave and go play in the independent club league, and they're like, oh, it's nothing like high school. So I do think that there is a real meaningful piece to people and to me and to, these girls as well, that can say, oh yeah, I'm gonna get a leotard that has the Winnacunnet colors on it, and I'm gonna compete as part of Winnacunnet and represent my town. I think that's meaningful.
Well, let's be clear, they're all also still probably competing privately, just like many kids are playing for high school and private club teams. Like that's a common practice in youth athletics at this point. So
But when they sign up, they have the high school has to come first when they compete on both. So it's like that's one of those things that it's in all of them, right? Am I correct?
Correct. You can't miss. You can't skip a high school and NHIAA sanctioned event or practice for an independent or a private league. You can do everything.
Right.
You just can't do it all at once.
Yeah.
But they won't have any practices through.
Right.
As a Winnacunnet group this year, they would not practice together. Correct. Unless a couple. I don't know what gyms they belong to. I'm sure a couple of them probably belong to the same gym or two.
Okay, I have a few questions for some clarity, and that was one of them. Is the group of the 5 girls, they're all practicing at different gyms? They're not all at the same gym?
As far as I know, they're spread out I've heard of a couple different gyms, yes.
Okay, so the estimated total that is on here, those costs that I'm sure they're paying a monthly fee to use that gym and train at that gym, they're responsible still for that?
They're doing their own funding for their practicing this year, yeah.
Okay, and this cost in here is to cover the uniforms and the coach and all that's related to the school. And my second question was, competing in gymnastics under the NHIAA, if these students are looking to pursue this in college or things of that nature, is this something that's necessary in order for them to go on, or is this helpful in any?
That's a good question. I would say it's probably not necessary, but it's probably helpful. This would be my first experience with gymnastics. I can say that while, you could always get college offers playing summer baseball or anything, but I would say it's always helpful to compete for your school for sure.
I feel comfortable moving forward with this as potentially more of a pilot, because I think if this takes off and we have more students that hear about it and there's greater interest, we're looking at opening several cans of worms that have to be addressed in the future.
Co-ed.
But I do think it's important.
I believe it's girls only for the NHIA.
For the students to have this if they're looking to compete for their school, and I think that's a great thing for the school to do. So I'm on board with that route. If there's any other thoughts, of course, I'm willing to listen.
I have a couple other questions. So what about transportation costs? I don't see that in here.
They will, so we will vet the coach, and she will do the DMV paperwork, so she will use the school van for the 5 of them, so there won't I mean, outside of gas.
They wouldn't use a bus.
They wouldn't use a
take the
bus.
school van.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So there won't be any added other than the
correct,
gas?
yeah.
Okay, and then how was the stipend calculated for the coach? Cause it seems like a pretty low commitment. And there's
Yeah.
other activities that are getting substantially less stipend.
When Bill and I talked, we talked about aligning it with the same stipend as our unified soccer, basketball, and track, because those are, again, low commitments. They only do, one practice a week and one game every, 3 or 4 games a season.
So that, yeah, there's not a lot, there's not 4 or 5 practices a week that we'd be.
Right, it's not a 7-day
Right.
commitment,
So
so
it's
I'm
we,
just
literally
thinking
she's
like
just showing
the
up.
chess club
Negotiated
stipend
that
is a
yet?
lot less, I think.
That
Pardon me,
was
I'm
my
sorry.
question.
Like the chess club stipend, I feel like is probably lower.
But there's
So-
2 different
And they
stipend
do-
tables. There's the extracurricular and then there's the athletic.
Yeah, but the commitment this is 5 times they're doing something. 5 meets, 6 times they have to go somewhere. There's no practices, very little other.
yeah, and I mean, I gotta be honest, I could probably, she would probably do it for free. She just her daughter is one of them, she's experienced with it, she wants to see this go, so, I mean, in my head, if, she was to do it, she would coordinate uniforms, she would coordinate with the girls, we're leaving at 6 a.m. to go to, the meet schedule in Bedford, I'm assuming these meets are a lot of a Saturday or a Sunday. But again, that we're not, neither Bill nor I don't think are stuck on that number.
Oh, do we have can we put this through the committee that does our stipends for athletics and have them assess what they think it should be?
Yes, I mean, I
So
think
the
you would do that
committee-
permanently.
We would, but the way the committee worked, I would bring this proposal forward based on this number, and it would be Mr. Bood, Leslie, somebody from the school, and then we take a look at the stipend list. So we wanna make sure, I take a look at that stipend list, okay, where does this fall in as far as potential hours, things like that. So that's why with the unified sports, they've got a couple of meets, maybe 1 or 2 practices, so this kind of aligned with that. Clearly it wasn't gonna be what we give the football coach or something like that, so we wanna make sure it stayed along that list. And then, with that list, going back to what Nicole said, we've got 2 different lists. We've got one for athletics and we got one for the extracurricular clubs and activities, so there's 2 separate lists that we look at.
Okay.
Any other questions? No? Then I guess I'm gonna ask for
Someone to make a motion?
make a motion to, I would say the motion would be, from what I'm gathering, is a 1-year, a 1-year, 1 season, and pilot program. Is that all right with everybody? Okay, so we'll make that motion. Mary Margaret?
So motion to accept a 1-year pilot program for gymnastics, or
Yeah.
one year's okay? Okay, all right.
Yeah, because it's only 1 season.
It's just winter, and
It's just
that
winter.
that would honestly give us time in the spring, and then when we meet in June to
Right.
assess.
We can see where it's going.
And we could also have ideas of, are there more people interested in this down the road? And
Well,
then,
and maybe we'll talk to the students and say, is this worth it to you guys?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
just, you know what I mean? Like, this is something that,
was this worthwhile?
Yeah,
Was this meaningful to compete for your school?
Exactly, that's
Yeah.
what I wanna know from them too.
I
that,
do too,
So
yeah.
I think that's a great idea, so,
Yeah.
okay. So we have that motion, can I make that motion? I can make the motion, can I? I don't know. Yeah, I made the motion, so somebody second?
I can second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Thank you.
Awesome. Keep us
Thank you.
posted.
I will.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And,
thank you guys.
Thank you for bringing it.
Thank you, thanks.
No, thanks.
I will just add, it did seem like historically, there was a lot of work on the part of the parents to bring forth some other sports like Nordic skiing and alpine, which have been highly utilized. So
Yeah.
I would like to see the students or the parents be here to maybe
Push it, like, present
Yeah.
it. Yep, well, I think you're right.
talk about why this program is valuable and all of that, because that was my impression. I wasn't here, but I understood it was very difficult to get those other sports added, and there was a lot of parent and student involvement to make that happen.
There was, and there was that season that we put in like 5 of them all at once, and it was, they had done their due diligence, and I get that, I totally do, and I think this one is because they're already at a level where they're gonna be competing, so I think maybe, and they're coming in as freshmen, if they had to do it for a year or 2 before they could do something, then it's kind of like their senior year they'd be competing for the high school, is what I'm thinking. But I think for a year, let's see it and see where it goes, you know, and we may not have a lot more interest, or we may have, so, okay. All right, well, thank you. Acceptance of gift for the Friends of Winnacunnet.
Okay, so, Friends of Winnacunnet donated a total of $17,988.58 to staff and students. So it was several donations broken down, and I think they supported, most of the different options and activities that we provide at Winnacunnet High School. To Ken Martin, $700 to get color guard uniforms, which started this fall, so we were able to get the color guard out there with the band. Student Anna Bassett, $1,000 to go to the National Honor Society Speaker and Field Trip Fund.
Science National Honors.
Science, what did I say?
You just said National Honor Society.
No,
but it's
Science National Honor Society. But that will be open to all students, not just students in the Science National Honor Society. Catherine Ash, teacher Catherine Ash, for game board production. And Brandon Michaud, to support the robotics, a 3D printer. So we're gearing up with the whole robotics club this winter. Catherine Chilson in Family Consumer Sciences, the power of press empowering student designs with heat press technology. To college counselor Melinda Schaffner for post-secondary tours of colleges. Also, we've provided some of the funding next year in the budget, but for drumline equipment, but $6,000 went to Ken Martin to purchase some of that this year. And student Tyler Newcomb, $3,000 to continue with his adaptive skateboarding grant that he started actually when he was a freshman.
Awesome.
Started in 8th grade, actually.
Oh, okay.
When he was in Northampton, he did.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you to all these. Can we get a motion to, if you don't want to read it all, just say, we can say a motion to accept all the donations as stated. How's that?
From the Friends of the Winnacunnet.
Yes, and we thank the Friends.
I'll make a motion to accept a donation of $15,193 from the Friends of Winnacunnet for all of the outlined activities.
Perfect, thank you. Second?
I'll second that.
Thank you very much. All those in favor? And we thank the Friends of Winnacunnet Foundation. Next one?
And the next one is from Hannaford Supermarkets. Through the Hannaford Help Schools. This has been going on for several years, and they donated this year. We have $2,752 that will go to Students in Need account.
Great.
And clearly this year that will an account that we will definitely need to provide support for students. So it works out well.
Awesome. Thank you. Get a motion for that?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the donation of $2,752 from Hannaford Supermarkets to Winnacunnet to support student activities.
Perfect. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? And thank you to the Hannaford Supermarkets. We will be going into non-public, so our future meetings are the Winnacunnet BudCom budget review is Monday, December 8th, 2025. BudCom review session 2 is Monday, December 15th. And Winnacunnet School Board, next school board meeting is Wednesday, December 17th. Thanks. So could I have a roll call to enter non-public, please?
Motion first.
Oh, motion, sorry.
I'll make a motion for roll call to enter non-public session under RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2A at 6:47 PM.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Awesome. Roll call?
Roll call, here we go. Desiree Potter,
Yes.
Leslie LaFawn,
Yes.
Nicole Seagull,
Yes.
and Tricia O'Keefe.
Yes. Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, yes.
Yes.